It's Pollinator Garden planting time. I've got 3 trays worth of seedlings that have been in their tray far too long. They're ready to go in the ground, like 2 weeks ago. And I've got some dahlias here from, I believe these are from Baker Creek seeds. So I don't really have a plan. I kind of want it to look kind of mixed and just be an easy garden, not really a formal layout. So I'm just kind of gonna plop them in there. Now the birdhouse, the bluebird house, and the mason bee house, they're gonna be up on poles, but that's where they're gonna be. So I have them there as a marker. There's also going to be another birdhouse back there on a pole. For dahlias, I have the Bristol striped dinner plate dahlia here, so watermelon dahlia back there, and the Kelvin floodlight dinner plate dahlia on this side. There you have it. I've planted the Pollinator Garden. Certainly doesn't look like much right now, but I'm sure that once everything gets established and takes root and starts getting a little bit fuller, it'll look nice. Let's go take a close-up. So I have planted cosmos at the beginning of the path on both sides. And I tried to do it pretty symmetrically, even though I'm not trying for a formal garden. I didn't want it to be lopsided. Then we have this square of what they're calling pollinator mix, and it has zinnias and I don't know, all kinds of stuff in there. I can tell there's marigolds and some sunflowers and some cosmos. I started it from seed this time because last time it didn't take. Then here along the front I have 5 small hollyhocks, and then here we have more zinnias. There in the corner, see if I can get my finger in the right spot. There in the corner we have dinner plate dahlia. There's some sunflowers, some salvia. You can't see, more sunflowers across the back. So that is the same for both sides. And then back here in the corner, so see, here's the little tiny plant there. Back here in the corner or some of my seeds just, they weren't large enough really to plant, but I picked out some of the larger ones and I put them in a kind of a semicircle around this. There's a dahlia right here. So there's some yarrow, milkweed, borage, echinacea, some more dahlia that was from seed. And then back in this corner will be where there's a third birdhouse. So I didn't really want to plant anything back there. And like I said, a dahlia there, and then everything repeats itself on this side. So I think it'll be pretty when it all kind of just takes hold, and if something doesn't, I'll plant more, and it's certainly a work in progress. You know, we've got to get the birdhouses up. I'm sure every year I'll add more, and then a lot of this stuff is perennial, so it'll add more on its own. So I'm excited to see what it turns into. It's always interesting when you plant something new and it looks so tiny to begin with, and then in a matter of a few days or a week it's exploded. So I'm really looking forward to that. Yesterday we got a rototiller and we rototilled a 24-foot bed here. I'm going to put some mulch along the sides of it. The cattle panel is for support on zucchini, bushel gourds. Next we had some climbing tomatoes, and then when I planted the pumpkins, I planted 2 of every seed just because I wasn't sure if everything was going to germinate, and they did. So I took 4 of the pumpkins. The 5th one, the second seed of the 5th variety just barely came up, so it was very tiny. So I haven't moved it out here yet, but these 4 are not looking too happy with me. I did it at night so it was cooler, and I watered them well, and then I watered them again today. So I don't know if they're going to make it or not. If they don't, I mean, it was basically just the thinning so that the 5 plants up in the raised bed do well. If they don't, I can plant something else here. But I hope they do. I hope they do all right. And then this is a hole for the 5th one if it decides that the second seed's going to germinate. So this is all, like, there's little tiny, I don't know if you can see right here, little tiny climbing tomatoes. So there's several of them here on both sides, and I planted the same thing on each side of this. So we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you updated. So for now, with the exception of planting the 2 citrus trees, the pollinator garden is finished. We're just waiting for everything to kind of grow, get bigger, and fill in.